So I'm just looking at Twitter and I come across this Kotaku article and I read some comments. I haven't seen the article yet. I've clicked on it just to load it and delete the ads because I'm going to read it. But my basic understanding here is that the people at Kotaku are complaining that Final Fantasy 16 has a feature in game that allows you to read the given lore at any point in the world based on where you're at in the story. Which, that is a completely net positive feature to have, and yet they have found a way to complain about it. So here's the article right here. It says, not even Final Fantasy 16 devs could follow the game's confusing story. Square Enix implemented an in-game lore explainer to help make sense of the perplexing narrative, written by Levi Winslow from 3 hours ago. So let's look at this article real quick and let's just talk about what's happening here. There's a lot going on in Final Fantasy 16, Square Enix's upcoming stylish reinvention of the iconic RPG franchise. Between the new setting, massive icon battles, and the Game of Thrones inspiration, Final Fantasy 16 can be confusing to follow. And if you feel that way as you're playing, you're not alone, as the developers added in an in-game explainer because even the team couldn't follow the game's convoluted narrative. So, this argument already doesn't make any sense, because you're basically saying the game is hard to follow, when the game's not even out yet, so you don't know what people are actually going to feel about it. If you're having trouble explaining... Launching as a PlayStation 5 exclusive on June 22nd, Final Fantasy XVI is this radical shakeup for series producer Naoki Yoshida said in August 2022 is struggling. That doesn't even make sense. That seems like a run-on sentence. Launching as a PlayStation 5 exclusive on June 22nd, Final Fantasy XVI is this radical shakeup for a series that producer Naoki Yoshida said in August 2022 is struggling to maintain relevance in an evolving industry. The game completely breaks free from its turn-based roots to become something much more action-oriented, akin to 2018's God of War, all while harnessing the power of the PS5. Okay. Then, another element that makes adapting to Final Fantasy XVI is the storytelling, which is so bombastic and perplexing that Square Enix needed to build in something called active time lore to make sense of what doesn't fully make sense. So, you're already taking pot shots at the devs by saying they don't understand their own story, which they clearly do. They're the ones making the game. This is a feature intended for people playing the game who might need a little help following what's going on. Final Fantasy XVI's Active Time Lore feature is at your fingertips. Active Time Lore is new to the Final Fantasy franchise, first revealed in a February 2023 PlayStation blog post. The feature lets you pause at any point during gameplay, especially in the middle of a cutscene. Well, that's nice. I like that. One of my big pet peeves in video games is cutscenes that don't pause, especially when they're long. I think pausing a cutscene is a must-have feature. I don't understand games that don't do it. Unless the cutscene is like 10 seconds long, then that's different. But if it's like at least a 3 to 4 minute cutscene, you need to be able to pause it. Just because I'm playing Zelda Tears of the Kingdom right now, and there's a lot of cutscenes in that game if you follow particular storylines, and you can't pause any of them, which I wonder why. Well, why not? But so that's already a good thing. I like the fact that the cutscenes can be paused. So you can read up on the events that just transpired, what's happening in the world, a character. Can I delete that? And the jargon they're using, or even factions and locations involved. It's like having a detailed Wikipedia in-game, making it so you don't have to scour the internet to learn about, say, why protagonist Clive Rossfield is so emo. Again, I don't see the problem here. If we can think back like 10 fucking years ago, what was the number one biggest problem with Destiny? The fact that Destiny had a grimoire that tells you all the lore of the game, But the grimoire wasn't actually in the game. You had to go onto Bungie's website to look at the lore for the game. So we were complaining back then that Destiny's lore was too hard to follow, and you needed to use the grimoire to read about it on the computer, not in-game. Now, what's happened? Final Fantasy XVI is including a lore system in-game that allows you to pause at any given moment to recap yourself on what is actually happening and who these characters are. And again, we're complaining, saying that that's bad. So which is it? It's like, you can't have it both ways. In a May 22nd interview with Polygon, Yoshida said that while it was always Square Enix's goal to tell this sweeping epic of a story with a massive ensemble cast, doing such a thing would inevitably lead to confusion. This bewilderment was particularly felt amongst the core development team, which prompted the creation of the active time lore feature, according to Yoshida. I think it was in May 2019, we brought together pretty much the main staff of all the sections working on the game and read through the entire script altogether. We found out that a lot of even the internal core staff were lost. They didn't know what was going on, so we realized all of a sudden we needed some way to support players that are going to feel this way as well. Because if we as devs are feeling it, players are definitely going to. So the devs are criticizing their own work and building a system in place to help fans understand where they fell off at. I still don't see the issue here. According to Polygon, there are some in-game characters that further explain Final Fantasy XVI's disorienting narrative. Loresman Harpocrates, Harpocrates, shares lore tidbits with you via the unlockable library. Then there's the political scholar Vivian Ninetails, who can give you tea on the state of affairs between the realm and its key players. That's a cool name, Vivian Ninetails. A Pepe Sylvia to map, I don't know what that means. These characters, coupled with active time lore, sound like a welcomed addition for a series that's pretty damn difficult to follow it accurately. So, I don't necessarily see what the purpose of this article is. Seems like Kotaku just coming at it for the hate clicks again, trying to give something to complain about because they feel like it. I don't understand the issue I don't understand the issue here. I legit think it's just Kotaku wanting to be mad about something again. Because it seems like Kotaku, all they do is post these kind of toxic reviews that don't add anything positive to the discourse at all. So yeah, remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and follow me on Twitter. All of my links are in the description. Thanks.